Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to the Habibie Center's public lecture, Bioeconomy at Technical University of Munich, Pioneering Sustainable Solution for a Changing World. I would like to especially welcome Dr. Ilham Habibie as the chairperson of the Board of Trustees, the Habibie Center. Also, Professor Volker Sieber, the Rector at the Technical University of Munich, Campus Straubing. Dr. Markus Wachter, Managing Director of Technical University of Munich, Asia. Dr. Guido Snieders, Director of DAAD, Regional Office, Jakarta. And also, Her Excellencies Mrs. Ina Lepel, the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Federal Republic of Germany to Indonesia. Welcome, and we are still expecting Professor Dr. Enia Listiani Dewi. Professor Enia is still on the way and will make it here. As we proceed, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Lutfi Ramis. I am a researcher at the Habibie Center, and I will be your host for today's public lecture. For about 2 hours, we shall discuss together our main topic, that is bioeconomy at Technical University of Munich, and its potentials as sustainable solutions amidst our ever-changing world. However, before that, I would like to welcome Dr. Ilham Habibie and Dr. Guido Snieder to deliver their opening remarks. Dr. Ilham Habibie, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Lutfi, the moderator for today. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, Mrs. Ina Nepal, the ambassador for Germany to Indonesia and Timor-Leste, I think, too, right? And ASEAN, too? Yes, okay. Also, I'd like to greet, again, Dr. Guido Snieders, the head of the regional office of DAAD, the German Academic Exchange Service. Not the foreign exchange, yeah. It's the academic exchange. Then, of course, also my friend, Dr. Markus Wachter, the managing director of TUM, or Technical University of Munich, Asia, and Singapore. And lastly, of course, our guest of honor and speaker later, Professor Dr. Volker Sieber, the rector of the Technical University of Munich of the campus in Straubing, which is a city in Bavaria. And I was just told by Professor Sieber that the focus of that campus is on sustainability and things related to sustainability. Well, first of all, I'll again like to welcome you all. This is an indeed very, very relevant, very contemporary, and very interesting topic for all of us. I mean, yes, sustainability is in everybody's head right now. Everything we talk and do and how we envision the future world is a lot about sustainability. If you talk about Indonesia, we have this glorious vision of Indonesia 2045. We call it the golden Indonesia. There's actually 3 keywords that we always mention. It should be resilient, it should be advanced, and it should be sustainable. Yeah? So it's that important in everybody's mind. So it has gone into the long-term planning of our country. Sustainability is one of the 3 keywords mentioned. And the changing world, I sometimes like to say the uncertain word. It becomes sort of like uncertain. Of course, technology helps us to understand uncertainty to make it more certain. But it's simply so many moving parameters in a very dynamic scenario, and it's many unexpected things that we have seen in the last years, months, days. And I don't want to go into detail here. It's really very, very amazing to understand how complex it can evolve in this planet. And I think we talked also about this today before we entered this room. The global warming plus the Indian dipole dynamics and the El Nino phenomena plus forest fires. This seems to have contributed to what we see in Jakarta as a quite unhealthy climate, unhealthy air that we have to inhale here. And we hope that what Indonesia has come to agree upon last year within the context of G20 with the G7 nations. I don't want to say too much because we are all, I think, waiting for the very interesting talk of a presentation of Professor Sieber. Again, welcome to everybody, and I look forward to the next coming 1 to 2 hours. Thank you very much. I give it back to the moderator. Thank you. Terima kasih. Danke.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ilham Habibie, for the introduction and for the relevancy of the themes to the, nowadays situations, and we all agree to that. Before I would call Dr. Guido Snijders to give his opening remarks, I would like to welcome Professor Enia Listiani Dewi as the chairperson of the Habibie Center's Institute of Democratization through Science, Technology, and Innovation. Welcome, Prof. Thank you. Right now, I would like to invite Dr. Guido Snijders, the director of the DAAD Regional Office Jakarta, to deliver the opening remarks. Sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, dear Dr. Ilham Habibie, Your Excellency Ina Lepel, Ambassador of the Federal Republic of Germany, dear Prof. Enya Listiani Dewi, dear Prof. Sieber, dear Dr. Markus Rector, distinguished guests. It is really, really a great honor for me to stay here in front of you at this historical place in the Habibie and Ainun Library, and I would like to thank you very much, Dr. Ilham Habibie, for inviting us here and for enabling us to have this event here in this wonderful and very dignified place. I have to admit that I'm a little overwhelmed that I'm allowed to stand here and address you in the house of the former president of Indonesia, the third president of Indonesia, Dr. Yusuf Habibie and his wife. Yusuf Habibie is very, very certainly at the center of German-Indonesian relations. He has spent 20 years in Germany, 1954 till 1974. He has been a close friend of Germany all his life, and the fact that he was the Indonesian president who invented democracy, who brought democracy to Indonesia, we of course read this against the background of his long-standing relation to Germany. For me, it is also very special to stand here because among the many, many things Dr. Yusuf Habibie initiated in Indonesian-German relations is also the DAAD office in Jakarta. We have proof for that because it is a letter from February 23, 1988, in which the then Minister of State for Research and Technology, Yusuf Habibie, addressed the then German Chancellor Dr. Helmut Kohl. They were, as far as I know, friends, and addressed him. And it's actually very funny to read because Yusuf Habibie, as a man of science and higher education, had very detailed idea on what Germany and Indonesia should do together with regards to cooperation in science and academic. And the very last point is to found a DAAD office in Jakarta, which is actually very, very wonderful that the DAAD office, which then was founded in operational in February 1990, was founded upon an initiative of Yusuf Habibie of Indonesia. I have a printout of the letter here, and it's my...
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the DAAD, the German Academic Exchange Service, is a non-profit organization funded by the German government. So we are like a non-governmental organization spending government money. With the task to foster academic relations between German universities and the world. And in order to do this, we give individual scholarships, we fund university cooperation project, and more and more important, we give information and advice and consultation on how to start, how to forge academic relations with German universities. In 2022, we supported 833 Indonesians who came to Germany long-term and short-term for studies, for research visits, for student visits, and 199 Germans to Indonesia. The higher education cooperation between Germany and Indonesia thrives. We have about 170 university cooperations registered and about 5,900 Indonesian students in Germany. Unfortunately, the number of German students in Indonesia is much smaller. Germans come to Indonesia for research, but it is my hope that with the rising number of degree programs at Indonesian universities taught in English, there will also be a rising number of German students in degree programs as a basis for further developing exchange. I know from many scholarship applications and applications for research stays that more and more academics in Indonesia are interested in questions of sustainability, in addressing the global challenges of our days, in questions of renewable energy. And so the topic of the presentation today, of course, is very much also at the interest of Indonesian academia and of course in the interest of our world. This event is not only about the great pleasure to be here in the house of the Habibie family, and it is not only about this presentation, but it is also, and I am very happy about this, a clear sign that the Technical University of Munich, Campus Asia, is reaching out to Indonesian academics. The TU Munich, Dr. Habibie is an alumnus of this university. The TU Munich is without doubt one of the leading technical universities in Europe. And the Campus Asia of the TU Munich is the largest, eldest, and most successful transnational education project by Germany. It is a very, very encouraging sign also for the development of Indonesian academia that this distinguished university and its campus in Singapore is now reaching out to Indonesia, and I'm extremely happy, and I wish you TUM Asia representatives fruitful cooperations, and of course I would always support you with any kind of advice and contacts which you need. Thank you very much. I'm really looking forward to the presentation, and once again, thank you very much for the great pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much, Dr. Snijders. That was an amazing opening remarks, and we have seen two amazing and insightful opening remarks from Dr. Ilham Habibie and Dr. Guido Snijders. And now, before we start the public lecture, I would like to introduce the moderator for today. Our moderator for today's public lecture is Herawati. Mrs. Herawati is one of our researcher at the Habibie Center, and she has been contributing and in some of our projects, and her research fields include developmental economics, international trade, international taxation, ASEAN economic pillar, and lately, she has also been contributing to the Habibie Center's Energy Transition Program. She is indeed one of the Habibie Center's brightest minds, and I would like to welcome her to the floor, and please give her a round of applause.
Thank you so much, Lutfi, for a kind introduction. So first of all, I would like to invite Professor Sieber and also Professor Enia to come to the stage. Yeah, thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Habibie Center Public Lecture Series on Bioeconomy at Technical University of Munich, Pioneering Sustainable Solution for a Changing World. My name is Herawati, and I am a researcher of the ASEAN Studies program at the Habibie Center, and I will be moderating today's discussion. First of all, please let me briefly explain about our topic today. So, in the pursuit of global sustainability, the bioeconomy has emerged as a promising solution to balance economic growth and environmental preservation. This discussion focused on the role of bioeconomy in sustainability, particularly at the Technical University of Munich under the Straubing campus. Technical University of Munich doesn't just theorize about the bioeconomy, but they also actively implement strategies for a greener future and accelerate the development of new bio-based products and processes. Within its diverse research area, some key domains stand out, such as bio-based material are explored as alternative to traditional plastic, derived from renewable biomass sources to promote sustainability. In addition, agricultural waste utilization embodies its commitment to circular economy principles, transforming agricultural residues into valuable resources to reduce waste and enhance resource efficiency. So today's discussion aims to provide insight for us on how we will achieve a harmonious coexistence between economic growth and environmental growth by harnessing the potential of bioeconomy. We also will discuss, Professor Sieber also will introduce several innovative research and approaches at Technical University of Munich aimed at promoting worldwide sustainability. So to discuss about this topic further, I am very pleased to welcome our distinguished speaker, Professor Volker Sieber. Professor Sieber is a rector at the Technical University of Munich, Campus Straubing, Biotechnology and Sustainability. Professor Sieber studied chemistry at the University of Beirut and the University of Delaware, followed by a doctorate in biochemistry. He conducted research at the California Institute of Technology and briefly worked at McKinsey & Co. Professor Sieber is a founding member of the Bioeconomy Council for the Government of Bavaria since 2015 and served as its spokesperson from 2018 to 2021. Professor Sieber was also the spokesperson for the Bavarian Innovation Center for Industrial Biotechnology since 2020. And additionally, he holds the title of honorary professor at the University of Queensland, and with colleagues from the Queensland and Brazil, he initiated the Global Bioeconomy Alliance, a platform for academia and industry to promote sustainable societal developments and technology exchanges. Good afternoon, Professor Sieber. Welcome to the Habibie Center Public Lecture Series. And then allow me also to introduce our discussion, Professor Enia Listiani Dewi. Professor Enia is a research professor in the field of electrochemical process technology at the National Research and Innovation Agency, or BRIN. And then she is also a chairwoman of the Institute of Democracy, Science, Technology, and Innovation at the Habibie Center. Professor Enia completed her undergraduate, master, and doctoral degree at Waseda University in Japan. She has been actively involved in hydrogen technology development for over 20 years and has published more than 200 publications. In addition, Professor Enia has received more than 30 awards, including the B.J. Habibie Award and Asia Excellence Award. Professor Enia is also actively engaged in the advocacy related to hydrogen technology development and frequently speak at seminars and conferences, both in national and international levels. Good afternoon, Professor Enia. Thank you for joining us today. I heard that, you just arrived from Japan this morning. So we really appreciate you to come to our public lecture series. So in around 1.5 hours, we will discuss about this topic, and then the agenda of today's discussion will be divided into 3. So the first one, Professor Sieber will deliver the presentation, and then Professor Enia, as a discussion, will give a comment on the presentation, and then the last session will be Q&A session. So during the Q&A session, we will give opportunities for audiences in this room to give comments or to ask questions. Without further ado, I would like to invite our speaker, Professor Sieber, to start the presentation. So Professor, the floor is yours. Thank you.
That's also. So, dear Mrs. Herawati, thank you for the kind introduction, and dear Dr. Habibie, Her Excellency, dear all honored guests here. I would like first to thank you to give me the opportunity to present here some of the work and some of the activities that are taking place at the Technical University of Munich. And it's for me a very nice thing to come back to Indonesia after 25 years. So in 1998, that was the last time that I've been to Jakarta, and I really like to be back here. So when we meet with people nowadays, basically every time, every conversation is ending about, or will finally end talking about the grand challenges of the world. Is that the PDF actually that has been uploaded? Can you upload the PowerPoint, please? Because not everything will be visible. Oh, hang on. Yeah, I'm sorry for the short delay. Many of the slides are animated, and so you will not see everything if it's not a PowerPoint. So, yeah, there are these grand challenges of today, and I don't have to really talk about any of these because everybody is talking about them already a little bit. The thing is that due to these challenges, the United Nations for a few years already has developed the so-called Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. And, well, this does not work there. These address certainly things like climate change, and they address also biodiversity. I'll move over here so I can point at it. But they address many more things. And the issue is, if you want to address many of these, you can follow many different concepts. And one of the concepts that has been put out already some years ago is the concept of the so-called bioeconomy. And an earlier vision of the bioeconomy was just about using renewable resources, in that case biomass, to produce, besides everything that you need for food and health, also plastics, materials, and fuels. But that's a bit shortcoming, and the bioeconomy as a concept to really help mitigating these problems of not being sustainable enough has been extended quite extensively. And now people talk about the so-called circular bioeconomy, and this is, well, still using biomass, but it's also more about using waste and learning from nature and learning from biology, applying biological concepts of reutilizing many things, like developing products to fulfill a cascade approach, so that at the end of life of one product it will start as a new and can be used as a new product until its very, very end where you still use some energy out of it. And it's, as I said, like learning from nature and learning from biology to have a sustainable economy. That's what the circular bioeconomy is mostly about. And it's not only about using biomass, but also integrating here renewable energy in the form of electricity, for example, and bring that as another resource into the cycle. Now, if you look at the concept of the circular bioeconomy, then you will see that it's certainly about technology developments. You have to go from here to there, but it's much more about that. It's about synthetic biology, material design, aspects to design the conversion processes, but also to design new products that will fill this cascade approach. It's about also how to approach the market, like customer acceptance, very important, supply chain management, where does the goods come from, as well as social impact analysis. So very, very complex subject, this bioeconomy. And to advance this concept and advance the bioeconomy, it's necessary that you have researchers as well as the managers and decision makers of the future who can think and act across these disciplines. So bioeconomy, and to make our world a sustainable world at the very end, requires that people have the understanding and the language of the different disciplines. And basically this is the scenario that the TUM Technology of Munich was looking at a few years ago, and it was wondering how do we approach this necessity for interdisciplinarity also in the education. So a few words first about the Technical University of Munich. It's one of the largest universities in Germany, not the oldest, but quite big, with almost 50,000 students, has funding. Also what TUM is very proud of, being leading in many of the rankings, international rankings, so being top in Germany, but also among the best in the world, and with the World Time Higher Education World University Rankings, actually it's not the right number, we are now number 13, so raise up the ranks, so very nice. And always proud to be at the edge of technology and with their concepts. And now how to work and how where to put the bioeconomy at the Technical University of Munich was a big question. So we have 7 schools now engineering design and management and many others. And the bioeconomy, as I said, is an overarching discipline, so it has to be worked at every one of these schools. But that's also the problem, because if you're at a school like me as a chemist, I'm also belonging to the School of Natural Sciences, but there I'm not working across disciplines. I'm just working with my fellow chemistry colleagues, more or less. And so it is important in the bioeconomy to reach out and relieve your silo to work with others. And this is why the Technical University then founded the TUM campus Straubing for Biotechnology and Sustainability. And it did so at a special place. So this is the southern part of Bavaria, and we have 3 main sites and many smaller sites, and then now the 4th biggest site in Lower Bavaria, so Niederbayern, a very nice town for everyone who wants to visit there. It's really good to be there, but it's a special region, because Straubing is a region and has always been of renewable resources. Why is that? Because it has the best soils. The yield of sugar from sugar beet is as high as from sugar cane in Brazil, so the yield per acre. We also have wood from the Bavarian forest, and quite a number of companies are located there, have settled, and companies that are actually dealing and producing, or not producing, but utilizing renewable resources. And we have a big inland port which gets renewable resources from all over the world to be processed in Straubing. And there's a strong commitment by the government as well as by industrial partners to build up this research and development areas. And we also, which is shown here, have this center where for 80 million euro a new pilot plant is built to advance technologies. Well, and in this area, basically in this region, then the TUM campus Straubing for biotechnology and sustainability has been placed. Now, as I said, it's about interdisciplinary research, and the 7 schemes or 7 disciplines that are important, that are covered in Straubing, are mentioned here. So we have chemistry and molecular biology, as well as engineering and some of the social sciences, as well as material sciences. So many different areas where teaching takes place. And I'm not going to the details of the examples that are shown here of some research, but I would like to also first come to the teaching aspect. And that is that, as I said, the next generation of scientists and of managers, etc., that we build up are, well, necessarily will have to be taught across the disciplines. And so we have designed several study courses which have always a certain home, but always go also into the breadth with the other subjects, like a management study course which has a strong background in technology, as well as the chemical biotechnology which has a strong background in materials, for example, as well as management. So all these interactions are very, very important. And these study courses are built up completely new, and every single module in there, every single thing that is taught to the students has a relation to sustainability and how things would have to be changed to be more sustainable, which makes it different from any other course that you see at university where just some little bit of sustainability is added to the curriculum. Here it's all around sustainability. And just to show a few numbers, so this we had an exponential increase in number of students over the last years. And I just got observation that we have 4 students from Indonesia currently enrolled in these courses, so all the master courses are in English. We also have PhD students and postdocs from Indonesia, and as a personal side note, one of my brightest PhD students that I had in the last 10 years was from Indonesia. And he was really great. I think none of my PhD students was as laborious and as diligent and as good as he was. So I'm really fond of his work. He was from Surabaya, no, not from Jakarta. So anyway, so these are some examples, or some of the background of the teaching and how to approach bioeconomy teaching-wise. And the second part I'd like to use to show some examples of the research that is done at the TUM campus Straubing. And also you can download our brochure if you take this QR code where there are more informations. It's about 2 years old already, but you will get still some information. But yeah, here are some examples that I slowly lead you through. And if I take too long, please stop me. The first thing is we founded the Green Fuel Center. And at TUM campus Straubing, but it's a TUM-wide activity. It's only kind of centered in Straubing, but we include certainly the PIs from the other sites as well. Green fuel, because it's not biofuel and not synthetic fuel, it's a mixture of this. In Germany, biofuels as well as synthetic fuel are not well considered. On the other hand, if you look at aviation fuel, there will be the need for fuel. You will not have airplanes building on or flying on batteries soon. So there's a huge demand on sustainable aviation fuel. And the challenge is to combine the best of the different worlds that there are. And the thing is that if you use biomass, well, in the production of the biofuels, you will produce a lot of carbon dioxide. With e-fuel, you have to get the atmospheric carbon dioxide in somehow, which costs energy. And so both exist, but our approach here is to fuse this into a new process concept where electricity is basically fueled into the biofuel or biomass conversion. And this is one of the major topics in our Green Fuel Center, and well, I don't have to go into the detail. This is pursued, for example, in this public funded project, Synergy Fuels, where really biotechnology in the form of fermentation is meeting electrolysis, is meeting heterogeneous catalysis in a way that all the process steps are integrated to have no loss of energy and to have also no loss of material, of atoms. So we're having the highest atom as well as energy efficiency. And yeah, this is one of the concepts where a lot of work is going on, and there are many partners, even VW is a partner here to advance this. Okay, so fuel, one big area, and well, we need fuel, we need energy, so this is very important. Another big area is the production of materials. A lot of materials nowadays, polymers, are produced from fossil resources. And I just gave you one example, which is acrylic acid in 1 million tons produced, where you could use polyacrylate, which is a major part of diapers. So that's the part that absorbs the liquid. And in a sustainable world, I have children, when they are smaller, I would not want to not have these diapers because they're really, really efficient. So even in a sustainable world, I would like to still have this molecule around, but not produced from oil or coal, but now produced from biomass. So the key is, can we produce these same molecules via different routes from biomass? And here, some numbers. The molecules that we need for these, the basic molecules, are required in the 1 million tons per year. But if you look at biomass, that's available in 1 million tons per year. So the availability of biomass would actually be there. However, the numbers I show are here from things like sucrose starch, which we rather should use for food. Well, that's not well accepted. So what we have to use is waste biomass. And these numbers you can't see. It's just another list now listing the waste biomass that is available and the tonnage of this. And you see again here, almost billion tons, dominant rice straw. I'm not sure how much rice straw is used, but in Indonesia, it's not easy, it's difficult. And so the challenge is here to bring these waste materials into utilization, and this is also some area of work that's going on. And I pick another example that we had worked with, which has a relation to Indonesia, which is the utilization of the crustacean shell waste. Indonesia is number 4 in the worldwide production of crustaceans. So right after China, Vietnam, and I think Thailand, with here almost 1,000 tons produced. So actually about 1,000 tons. So actually this is million kilograms, not million tons. Anyways, so there's a lot of waste that's accumulating in these. And actually this picture is from Indonesia, from our Indonesian partner of a former EU project, where, yeah, all this waste is really accumulating and you don't know what to do with it. And actually, even worse, in Europe, it's very costly to have this waste. It really costs you to get rid of it. So it's an ideal... It's not continuing. Is the battery low? Oh, here we are. Thank you. So it's quite costly. Still, it has some interesting molecules in there, some carbohydrates which could be used, or some proteins, some lipids, but also calcium carbonate. So it's not an easy substrate. And the question arose whether it's possible to valorize this. And the problem here is, while if you have these waste materials, it doesn't cost you very much to get them or even get some money back, but the processing is very, very, very expensive, very, very difficult for the treatment and to make use of these. And so here it's important to build up one research that has been done already. And in Straubing, we have one industrial plant, basically the largest bioethanol from wheat straw plant in Germany that was built by the company Clariant. That's following this lignocellulose biorefinery approach, where you kind of take your waste stream and you have to really pursue a number of very special process steps to get it apart. And so certain pretreatment, certain catalysis, catalytic routes. And as I said, this sunliquid plant from the company Clariant is in Straubing, and I read that they're already in talk with some Indonesian companies to maybe build up something like that here. But anyways, we tried to learn from their approach to apply it now for this chitin waste, for this crustacean waste. And well, to make a long story short, so we developed this route where we combine mechanical and microbial treatments, use some enzymes to get the waste separated and get some small molecules out, which we can then convert via fermentation and chemical catalysis to some polymers. So company Evonik was involved here. And it worked, so we got really polymers. However, we never reached more than technology level 4 to 5 because it was just too expensive. And here's one of the big challenges. If we want to be sustainable, we should, if you want to bring sustainable technologies to life, they have to be also cost efficient, and they have to be able to beat the fossil-based processes. And petroleum, fossil, is just still too cheap. And so we have to find other solutions to bring these materials sustainably into the market. And one other solution that is technology-based and not financial-based is a different approach, in that we not competing against existing products, but actually design new molecules, new materials, which have better properties. And there's another molecule that's called nylon, polyamide 6. You might know it's very, very all around us, very important. And we designed a new polymer that has better properties, which we're only able because of the nature of the molecules. And so the background is that you get from the petroleum to naphtha this small molecule, it's circular, like a circle. You do some modifications, and then you get to this very linear molecule. That's very important for the polymer material to have. But our approach is to kind of introduce here some not fitting parts, Fehlstellen. Forgot the English term. No. Deficiencies, yes, right, thank you. Deficiency, yeah, he knows better than that. So some deficiencies which will actually have a positive impact on the material properties. And that is, if we go to resources, in this case from the pulp and paper industry as a waste product, you have the turpentine oil, and you have molecules which are almost similar but have some of these modifications. And if you put them into these polymers now and make the same polymer, you will have here now things that will interact and it will produce these deficiencies. And the issue is that with these deficiencies, the material is actually much stronger. And it is also more lightweight, and it's transparent. So it's really...
I'm sorry, Professor, you still have 5 more minutes?
Okay.
Thank you.
So, and so, thanks. Very important material, and we are now, so the first gram usually costs $1 million, the first kilogram costs another $1 million, and the first ton will cost $1/3 million. We are now between the first kilogram and the first ton, so about 100 kilograms being produced, together with industrial partners, because it's really, really very great properties. Anyways, I have to hurry up. Just a few other examples, what you can do with biomass from bio-based polymers. You can use cellulose actually as light fiber. It's not glass, it's really cellulose here. Just bio, also biodegradable. You can use proteins for LEDs and make them very stable. So colleagues from Straubing are working on these. Hydrogen is very important. So you have to introduce hydrogen into biomass conversion because it will save you the release of carbon dioxide. And here just a few numbers. So in theory, if you would use hydrogen to upgrade biomass conversion, you have much higher yields here. But the question is, how do you get the hydrogen into the production route? How you fuse hydrogen with biotechnological processes? And here, synthetic biology comes in for the design of microorganisms and biocatalysts. And we have here the Synbio Foundry at TUM as a new center. And I'll skip that because I run out of time, but we can discuss later. It's for the development of more efficient biocatalysts. And so one part of the work that's also leading toward this is with my colleague Nicolas Pomeray, who is working with these hydrogens directly on electrodes to get the electricity directly into the biochemical processes. And with that we have one project where we do carbon dioxide fixation together with Fraunhofer and Max Planck, which is this carbon dioxide fixation is much more efficient when it will run at the end at a very high scale than what plants can do. And also we have some work on obtaining hydrogen from biomass when we produce chemicals as a side product. I'm not going into detail of that. And so the last example that I'd like to give is about sustainable food production, which is a bit of a rethinking of how we nourish ourselves. So nowadays, when we eat meat, well, it's basically sun-based. Sun will have biomass growing, and the cow or chicken will feed on the biomass, and we can then have our piece of meat. And protein as nourishing is very important. Also, nowadays, at least in Europe, and in many other countries of the Western world at least, a lot of the biomass, especially sugars, are converted to amino acids by fermentation. Japan is leading in that also. And the amino acids are then fed to the poultry, to the animals. And so a lot of the meat production nowadays is going this route. But still, you need the biomass. And actually, you also need the amino acid if you follow these modern meat production routes, the artificial meat in the petri dish. Now, the efficiency of the plants for meat production, or generally for growing, for taking solar energy, is not very high. And it's really very low, to be honest. And we have much better efficiencies if we use technical solutions like solar or wind power to produce hydrogen, and then feed this hydrogen into the amino acid production. And one approach here that we pursue is going via the intermediate methanol, and so the efficiency from here to there is already more than 25 times as good as efficiency from here to there. And so we now just have to go from here to the meat, and well, basically at the end using electricity for our food production. The challenge is to get to this step here, from the methanol to the amino acids. Again, work with our biofoundry. And we did this, I'm not going to detail here, we achieved also quite yields. And at the end, if you look at the graph here, it's really taking carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and electricity to make the amino acids, and basically it's also kind of written down here. So at the end, protein with a much higher efficiency per acre, so you can free land, you can free agricultural land and give it back to nature to have also here a higher diversity being possible. And now, since I rushed through the last slides, I think I will almost finish in time. So here again, some of the examples that I talked about. One more slide, because we do also internationalize quite a bit. And I want to point out here the Global Bioeconomy Alliance that we founded between University of Queensland, UNESCO, and TUM, and we are now in the process of extending this cooperation, including other international players. So we have formalized this as an association, and this is a very good basis for international cooperations, also for study exchanges that we have. And with that, I'm through. I hope still in time. I'd like to thank you for your attention and hope that there are good questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Sieber, for insightful presentation. So you started your. We'll continue. Is there any after this? So yeah, Professor Sieber had introduced us to a modern approach of circular bioeconomy that requires interdisciplinary in research and teaching. And it also required workforce that has ability to think and act across discipline. So I cannot agree more for that, because as like economics background, when you start like talking about all the molecule and things, I was, oh my God, I should pay more attention when I had chemistry class in high school. So yeah, thank you so much for that. And yeah, those reasons also become the factor for TUM to establish the, wait a second, it's hard to read our notes. I'm sorry about that. So yeah, it's also a factor that for TUM to establish the campus Straubing for biotechnology and sustainability. So I will pass the floor to Professor Enya to give some comments. And also maybe you can like make a comment on how also Indonesia's effort for the bioeconomy. Do we have any agenda for bioeconomy, and how's the development of it? Thank you. The floor is yours, Enya.
So thank you so much for having me, and I'm really glad to meet you, Professor Sieber. It is first time to meet a person from TUM, because we heard about TUM all over the world, and it is a really wonderful time to know about your speech also. Actually, I just landed from Tokyo, and it was 1 week we talking about the hydrogen. Exactly what you do also, because we have talked about the carbon recycling. What you mentioned in the last part of your session is about how to use the carbon to make another added value of methanols, and then you are creating the protein after that. That's really wonderful things. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, we are now facing out, we are now have a talk a lot on the carbon reduction emission and how we can implement it in our country also. And since in 1 week we're talking about the carbon recycling, that in the future we will have the economy of hydrogen. So we are discussing with the 20 countries, including Germany, And there is one person of Fraunhofer was attending that meeting. And we have some opinion now from all around the world that everybody talking about the circular economy and how to make many research field that can be exposure by a sustainability point. And of course, on the field of the potential of Indonesia, if I addressing the Indonesia natural resources, we have so many big potential here to make a new product such as mentioned by Prof. Sieber in this research, that we can create another product. Even we can make a protein from the electricity. So it's really, really interesting point. And I think we must also consider about the polymer, as you mentioned in the first session. It's all about the polymer molecules. Well, in part of our talking also, now if we're talking about the environment, you are all realize that polymer is a part of our life. But now, as we talked yesterday, it was many countries now will not use such kind of fluoropolymers. The fluoropolymers, if the fluoro on the polymers, like a Teflon, maybe everyone know about the Teflon, and maybe everyone know about the Nafion. Maybe Nafion it's not knowing by everybody, but Nafion is the part of membrane that that commonly used to convert the hydrogen into the electricity. That we call fuel cells, but we are not able to use that kind of polymer anymore, because the fluoro is always now is poisoned all over the air, all over the drinking water, and so on. So it is now being a big issue in Japan. I think, I don't know, in Germany would be kind of that or not, but the research from TUM are addressing this is a really good point that we must putting the bio-based polymer. So now if the woman here cooking by using Teflon, you must change it. You must change it suddenly, because it is really, really dangerous to our human body and our nature. So, but the researcher still cannot find the replacement of the Teflon also. So I think the research on bio-based polymer, like Professor Sieber mentioned, it should be our focus research also in Indonesia, of course. And then I'm also thinking about the how we can make the circular economy with the bio-based, because in Indonesia we have so much natural based resources. Then we can use that on many fields of our product, and also start from the research. And talking about the research, I will emphasizing also that now BRIN, National Research and Innovation Agency, have many topic in terms of circular economy, including bio-based materials, biodegradable materials, and also we use also the biofuel, but still in the research field. We start to make bioafter as a fuel of jet engine, and also now we starting also to make a biohydrogen. So from fermented waste, we can make a biohydrogen gas using the waste of our bioresources, such as pomade from palm oil mill effluents, and also from sago, cocoa. We can make it using the fermentation method. We can make the biohydrogen. Such kind of that's interesting research also start in Indonesia. And it, I think BRIN also have should pay more attention on the circular economy related with our research. So I think my point is mainly to address it's about the sustainable research should be a big topic, and our focus topic for the research and innovation in Indonesia. And the last thing I want to asking a little bit about bioincubator that you said. So is the bioincubator such kind of incubation center, and then using the bio-based research results that deliver to the startup of industry, and how TUM can facilitate that?
Yes, the Bioeconomy is a place for startups to settle and grow and build up their business. And the Bioeconomy that I mentioned here is dedicated to companies that are startups that are going to use renewable resources. And it's also accompanied, in this case, with the pilot plant, which helps in the upscaling. Usually if you develop something as a laboratory, a new technology, a new process, to bring it to real large scale, that's a very difficult task. And for this you need the equipment, which is not readily available. And here Bavaria invests almost 100 million euro to build up such a pilot plant.
Oh, so it is should be a co-funding.
No, it's completely governmental funded.
Government funding.
But TUM, in addition, has started an initiative of so-called venture labs, which is then also co-funded by the government, but also with TUM resources to have dedicated kind of spaces and environment and maker spaces for new ideas to be brought into becoming a startup at one point of time. So early in support for students and also others to use the infrastructure that the TUM has to foster these startups.
Oh, in the start point, when I think is maybe, for example, protein that we can make from the electricity, that's kind of research would now is co-funding also by the industry from the start, from the early beginning of research, or in the such kind of TRL, if you achieve some TRL, then you passing to the industry. Which one is that you do more?
Well, it's different approaches. So we have technology push, but also requests by industry. And with the proteins, it was an early work, more of a technology push type, but now we are advancing this by cooperation with industrial partners.
Okay, so more also get from the market pool? Not only
yes,
the
at some point of time
push.
you need the market pull, because technology push itself will hardly bring anything to a new market. At some point of time there needs to be a company, or you make a startup. But usually we do have cooperations then in a way that almost everything that we do is at some point of time together with industry.
Okay. So, yeah. I think my question is, I still have a question, but not really related with this kind of biomass. That's okay. It's about carbon trading. I really want to know about the carbon trading, because now it's the main topic in our country also. We just start carbon trading market. And what do you think in the term of, well, in the next bioeconomy, can we use that carbon trading to emphasizing the bioeconomy effects?
Definitely. The thing is that many products of our day that are fossil-based are just very cheap. And if you would calculate the burden that you put into the planet, if you would kind of make this value to be paid also by the customer, by, for example, carbon dioxide emission certificates or whatever, then you would get a more realistic price. And so it is important towards sustainability to make this pricing realistic.
Yeah. It should be more, I think now, because that's my homework topic also, that we are now in the world, it's not really transparent about the carbon trading. So it should be transparent. You think so?
Definitely, but this is really the big challenge, because if you sell some goods, and we are selling goods globally, so there's a global trading going on, which is good, but you always have to rely on the information that went into the production. And if you have one company that is truly measuring every single carbon dioxide that is emitted, another company that's kind of fudging this data, then it's very hard, because then the other, the company that's not correctly, but I think it will always have an economic advantage. And so unless we install a foolproof system, it's very hard to introduce this way, or we have to exclude maybe some countries where we know that it will not work.
Okay. Yeah, it's a very interesting talk. So I think I must stop here, and we get some more questions from the audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Enia, for the comments and also discussion. So yeah, so you mentioned that we need more research about the circular bioeconomy, and actually for Indonesia itself, in 2022, the Ministry of National Development Planning of Republic Indonesia has initiated a study. So it's aimed to maximize the bioeconomy in Indonesia. And then the plan is they will put the a study result as an input for the national long-term national plan for 2026 to 2045. So it's like 20 years plan. So for TUM, so do you have any like cooperation with Indonesian government or Indonesian university in order to make a cooperation in a bioeconomy in Indonesia?
No, but that's why I'm here, to kind of start something like this. So I see certainly a very big potential in bioeconomy for Indonesia.
Okay. Thank you. So yeah, I think it's like good momentum, because our government now is starting it, and I think it will be great to have more research that we can have like efficient and effective plan for 2026 to 2045. So thank you so much. And now I will move on to the Q&A session. I believe there are many questions from our audience. So if you have any question, please raise your hand and mention your name and affiliation to the forum. So yeah, there are two questions from the gentleman back there. So if you please can give a microphone to him. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm Muhammad Abdul Halik from the National Research and Innovation Agency. I'm Director for Environment, Maritime, Natural Resource and Nuclear Policy. I'm studied in Germany, and my promotion was under the program from the BMBF Environment Program Nahal 3 Bioproduction, more or less the same context with now bioeconomy topics. So my question is, what do you think about the bio raw material in Indonesia that is palm oil, that is more criticized by the European countries? What do you think about this? Because that is one of big economy pillar in Indonesia right now, and possibly also in the future. And the second one is, what do you think about blue economy, the resource from the ocean and so on? What is your point of view? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the question. Do you want me to collect like 2 questions and then you answer it, or one by one? Which one should you
I
prefer?
would answer one by one, especially since I only understood half the questions.
Okay.
So my opinion about palm oil or palm oil is certainly a difficult topic because like with all the bio-based products, you do have to take care of not destroying too much biodiversity when producing them. And so palm oil is a very, very good raw material, very easy to process, very helpful. On the other hand, one has to take care of producing it sustainably and not destroying natural wood with that. And so you have to find the right balance here, and also maybe not burn it directly, but as I said, use more of the waste material and then hydrogen and upgrade the waste material to produce the biofuels. So we will not have all the airplanes of this world flying on palm oil, for example, even though they could, but it's just too much burden to the land. I didn't understand the second question, the second part, the second raw material. So, yeah, I think that seaweeds are a very good resource. Microalgae, not, because to grow the microalgae, it's a lot of effort, and it's much more, it saves much more, or you will have a higher acreage if you would put a solar cell onto the same area as you would have a pond or a lake. You would get much more energy via the electricity. And on the other hand, using the ocean and having seaweeds grown in the ocean, that's a very important resource. And there are technologies where this is more mechanized now, and you will then have also the sea as a source for resources. And I think that Indonesia has a very good position as well here.
Okay, thank you so much. We move on to the next question. Yeah, maybe, yeah, the ladies over there.
Thank you, the Habibie Center, for this August opportunity. I'm Stania. I'm a research manager on electric vehicles from the Center of Economic Reform of Indonesia. I want to know, because we are currently living in the Plasticine, where we have a whale shark died because of the stomach was found with a lot of plastic in Bali Beach last 2 weeks ago. Indonesia is the second biggest plastic polluters in the world, and one of the solutions that we are trying to do is looking for the biomass replacement, such as the one we have with EvoWare, which is a plastic bags made from seaweeds, as you mentioned. But unfortunately, EvoWare also, or whether it has been highlighted by the World Economic Forum, hasn't been replacing the plastic bags we have in the store nearby. So even though it is innovative, it is relatively cheap. As you say, Indonesia has a lot of seaweeds products. The capital expenditure and also the operational expenditures is lack here to scale up into mass market production. So my question is, I wonder whether TUM with interdisciplinary approach also look at the policy advocacy that enables sustainable products such as EvoWare to scale up economically. Thank you.
Well, very good point, very urgent issue that you raised here. And we are active in this field of biodegradable plastic production, so technologically. But as you mentioned, it's also more of a policy thing. So like in Europe, we have the single-use plastics policy, for example, where it's legally prescribed of what you can use for what application. And in Italy, for example, you will only find shopping bags now that are biodegradable. And this is a political thing, and even so they are a bit more expensive, it's nothing that nobody can afford. So here rules have to be set by the government, and it might be certainly supported by scientists, but at the end, it is something where the framework has to be set. So technology itself will not save it, will not solve it. So you need the framework, the legal framework.
Yeah, thank you so much for the question and also responses. The next question, please. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm Rian Nur Rahman from Clean Energy Generation atau Generasi Energi Bersih. First thing first, thank you very much for Dr. Ilham Habibie for inviting us to attend this lecture. We support the use of clean energy and campaign it for Indonesian citizens of all ages. We receive the information that several final waste disposal sites or TPA seperti Bantar Gebang di Indonesia are capable of producing biomethane gas, such as in Manggar TPAS in East Kalimantan. My question for Prof. Volker Sieber and for Prof. Enia is, how does BRIN and TUM support the research on food waste into biomethane? Because of Indonesia has many sources from food waste are in final waste disposal sites. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. So,
Yes, I know.
So food waste is a very, very important but also difficult type of waste because it has a very high water content. So making biogas is one of the best things that you can do because you have an easy product purification, and we do have biogas production research at TUM, and it is, I mean, you might want to link with that. Another possible way of utilizing this is not done at TUM, which is more with other universities, using insects. So to feed insects on the food waste and then feeding these insects to feed animals. Our research at TUM actually, and especially also in Straubing, is actually more on the avoidance of food waste. With having the right logistics and having the right pricing so that the amount of food that is wasted will be declined. Because it's not only about using it, it's about waste avoidance, because all the energy that also goes into this is wasted. So this is where a lot of effort should go. But yeah, whatever waste is accumulated, then biogas in this case is a very good solution.
yeah, thank you so much. Ibu Enia?
Yeah, thank you. Just added something that maybe addressing the biogas from waste. It's if we can collect the biomethane, we can use it and we can reuse it or have some any extraction to be some more usable gas, but we need a separation method. So I think in BRIN we have several projects to collect the biogas and then using it as a co-firing resources, and also we now are trying to make the hydrogen from biogas as well. I think Dr. Mac, can you add some point about this biomethane, because he is an expert from BRIN also that doing the biogas. Go ahead.
I'm studied biogas for my diploma thesis and master thesis in ATZ Evus Gembesus Barusmek, not far from Straubing. And Professor Faustich was also the head of the ATZ Entwicklung Center after me. He was also professor in Straubing. So and in Hamburg I have also for my master thesis. So I'm now the chairman of the Indonesian Biogas Association, also supported by some German persons from GIZ and from some others. For example, for Thomas Wagner, he is from the Eurochem. Maybe you know him, Eurochem. Yes, about the answer. Yes, we are doing research a lot, and we have done also so far as Professor Ania mentioned about the utilization of the biogas in terms of for electricity production and also for co-firing. So co-firing, that means we can save the palm oil kernel cell, so we can export or sell to the power plant company for co-firing again, to reduce the coal consumption, and so we save we can reduce the fossil fuel in this case. So we are doing also a lot development in biogas from other waste, cassava, wastewater, and so on and so on. We are trying also now the biogas production for municipal solid waste, the organic part of the municipal solid waste, but the basic problem, as Professor Ania mentioned, we do not have yet the separation good systems, the separation system for the municipal solid waste. So there's our challenge. The first challenge is how we can separate the municipal solid waste in organic and inorganic. So if we can achieve this step, I'm very optimistic we can use also the organic waste from the municipal solid waste to the biogas and also other products. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mike. Maybe I just added a point also that we assist industrial, national state-owned company industry in Riau. Then that industry now now accept the carbon credit, right? Yeah, the carbon credit from the use of biogas to convert the electricity. So it is the carbon market also now start running in Indonesia. I think if we can convert more biomethane to another's or methane gas, biogas to another's, we can retrieve also another carbon credit.
I have one
Okay.
additional remark.
Yeah.
We do also development in utilization of biogas in form of biomethane and bio-GNG, also in this project in the
Yes, in
PTPN 5 in Rio. So we try, we have also road test to utilize the biomethane for the truck in this
For the
plantation
transportation
company.
uses.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions? Oh yeah. Yeah, Dr. Ilham Habibie.
Oh, maybe it's for you.
Thank you very much. Of course, everybody can guess what the question will be because I'm an aerospace guy, so it's going to be aerospace. Yes. I have to confess, as already Dr. Schneider said, I am myself an alumni from TUM, so I've spent many years at TUM, both as a student. I did my until diploma engineer in mechanical engineering at TUM, and also as a researcher and assistant, working for almost 7 years at the Institute for Fluid Mechanics at TUM. And I basically left TUM in 1994, together with my PhD in aeronautic engineering. So I am a truly aeronautic engineer. And my question will be regarding the sustainable aviation fuel. Because to the best of my knowledge, right now we have only 0.4% of the total aviation fuel covered by SAF, or sustainable aviation fuel. And the problem is that the feedstock for that is right now limited to something very scarce, which is basically animal fat and used cooking oil. So it is something very needed. I've had a good discussion with the currently largest provider of that, which is a Finnish company called Neste or something. They have one refinery in Helsinki, another one in Rotterdam, and now I think about to be open in Singapore. And their aim is to enlarge from 0.4% of the total fuel to more than that. But if you would limit yourself to just those two, animal fat and used cooking oil, I'm not very hopeful that can be achieved, because I completely share your view that the future of aviation, it will take a long time until we have fully electric vehicle for many hundred passengers for many thousand kilometers flights is very difficult. So it will be hybrid, meaning to say there will be a role to play for the battery, maybe fuel cell, for certain parts of the flight envelope, maybe the taxiing, the takeoff, and certain part of climb, and vice versa. Also, if the airplane goes down and then land and taxi again, yes, maybe then you use electrical energy as a complement. But for the bigger part of the so-called flight envelope, you will have to have still a combustion engine or a turbine, something uses fuel. So how to do net zero? Well, you need SAF. So what to do? What's your advice? Because if you were, again, the sources are so small, yeah? How can we get this much bigger? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for the question, Dr. Ilham Habibie. So, yeah.
Yes, very good point made, and this 0.4% that we have now is basically using almost all the waste cooking oil that we have available. So we cannot really increase it very much. And so the key is certainly to use waste material, waste biomass that's available all over the place. And I gave a list of things that are not very well used. And for example, rice straw, 730 million tons accumulating per year. The problem here, it's very small amounts per place. So it's a lot of work to gather everything and convert it. So you need also the right conversion technologies, which is a lot of inefficiency coming actually in there. But still, it is important to use waste biomass. And then what we discussed before, opening up new ways for biomass production, like having the ocean as a source, like having seaweeds. And there are technologies in Europe developed at least where you have a kind of platforms where the seaweeds are automatically attached to and grown in large amounts in the ocean. So we have to find these as well. But at the very end, it comes and fails with the availability of electricity. And you have to build up wind power as much as possible. So earlier this year I visited one of the wind power plants from Porsche and ExxonMobil that was run in southern Chile, where the wind is blowing all the time in a strength that is, you don't want to live there. But if you have every single wind power plant that is now in Germany, if you had built that in southern Chile, the amount of energy that you would get out of this is so much more, and then you can convert it to synthetic fuels, or even, as I said, combine it with the waste, upgrade the waste biomass to have more fuel. And certainly, even so, nuclear power is not well seen. I would not shut down any nuclear power plant that's existing now, because you need every single bit of energy that's available. And so all these together will hopefully get the amount of SAF up over time. I know that there are more than the 1-2 companies, so Neste certainly is a leader, but there are, I saw a slide the other week that there are about 10 companies that will start up production within the next 3 years. But it will still not be more than a few % of SAF that's needed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there any more questions?
Yeah. I know I want to give other people a chance to ask, maybe.
Okay. Is there any more? Oh yeah, one more question. But if you have one question more, we still have time.
Just to deepen the question.
Okay.
I've been involved a little bit in, and I think they may be related to you. I'm not sure. I've come across some people that want to use the forest waste to convert into SAF. And then, so that's maybe according what you said, right? It's basically the waste of biomass, right? So you have to imagine if you are in the forest industry and you have to trim the trees so they grow, right? So from that trimming alone, there's thousands and thousands of tons available, or millions maybe, and that can be, and then there are people that look into that to convert it into sustainable aviation fuel. And some of them are actually from Munich. I met them already, online. So I don't know whether they are maybe collaborating with you, but that seems to be the right way to go, right? Rather than go to the other thing that some people had in mind, but you seem to be not so pro that, especially use palm oil. But there's always the dichotomy, is it fuel versus food, right? Also the sustainability of it.
how much palm oil can you produce on this
Yeah.
planet? And
Yeah.
it certainly is limited.
It's limited, yeah.
And and how much do you need for food? Because food comes first. So this is really, I don't think that you can produce enough palm oil to fuel the world's airplanes. It's just too much. So you have other resources. Now with the wood, raised wood, you should do this because if you leave it out in the forest, it would decay into carbon dioxide anyways. However, it is important to get the nutrients back. So if you take out the cellulose or the energy, you have to get all the minerals and nutrients back into the wood. If you don't do that, then the wood will degrade, the forest will degrade.
I see. Okay. Thank you. That's it, basically.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ilham Habibie. And I think there is one more question from the lady. I think the one first. Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity. Please introduce, my name is Nurul. I am from Sustaination. It's an abbreviation from Sustainable Nation, a social e-commerce. We are pursuing a sustainable shopping solution. What I want to ask is, this day, online shop is the center of small economy and as well as almost everybody's choice of shopping. But the waste produced because of it is very massive, like millions of boxes, tapes, and bubble wraps. Is there any way, any research ongoing that can pursue a better system for sustainable online shopping? And what kind of technology support might be needed that TUM maybe has? Also, I'm just curious that how is online shopping taking toll in Germany from the waste side, I mean, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So the question is for you, Professor Sieber.
Yes, so online shopping is certainly increasing in Germany as it's all over the world, I guess. Not so much with groceries. I heard that in Indonesia you even get your groceries delivered home, which I would never do. But I need to see what I'm going to eat, so I really like to go to the grocery store. But anyways, in Straubing we do have people from the social scientists, like people that study customer behavior and people that study how to market sustainability and sustainable products and how they have to be differently marketed than others. So it is an important issue to consider here what's going on and how would it affect then the general sustainability of the economy. And at one point you can say that online shopping is more sustainable because you don't have thousands of people taking their car to the shop, but you have a few cars from the shop that circle around. So the future would be toward this, but we'll see to what extent this will develop, and it also has this social perspective. If you have a city like Straubing, it's a small city. If you wouldn't have any shops there anymore, what would happen to the city? So sustainability is also about living as a society in a sustainable way, and it might at the end be more sustainable to have only online shopping, but it would not be good for the society. So it really, you have to consider the entire picture.
Okay, thank you. Professor Enia, do you have any comment on this? About online shopping waste in Indonesia, maybe?
Oh yes. Well, about the materials, the polymer materials that we now using in entire our life, and also we have so many waste of plastic in Indonesia. I think it's a big problem, and now we added the bubble wrap that cannot be recycled now. It is a huge topic, and I think we should more care about our wastes. And in Indonesia, there is a several policy that making the new waste facility, but not yet in the term of polymer and plastic. So I think a government should put attention, especially in plastic waste. I heard about the several community it is doing in Bali mostly. they're recycling the plastic to be some kind of product. And I think it is already start also in a part of West Java, but near the plastic industry. So I think it should be more separately in Indonesia, and we hope there is more recycle company again in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
I'm
you.
also want to invite a person, Prof. Oki from BRIN. That's please stand up, Prof. Oki, because he is the chair for the organization research from BRIN. So I think it's a good time to hear about the opinion, and maybe in blue economy or in a green economy. Go ahead, Pak Oki, silakan. Because we need more we need more information about the research ongoing.
Thank you. Today actually I'm feel very home here, because last year I was the awardee of Habibie Prize in Basic Science, and with Germany I was the DAAD postdoctoral fellow and Humboldt postdoctoral fellow. So thank you very much. And I'm now the chairman of the research organization for Earth Sciences and Maritime at BRIN. And one of the important issue within our research organization is about the blue economy, especially the blue carbon. And it is expected that next year, BRIN will start a project on carbon, both green and blue economy. And especially Indonesia has very important coastal ecosystem, which are coral reef and then mangrove and seagrasses. And our attention will be given to the seagrasses because there are not much data available currently. So with the local and international as well as the regional, we will start use program on blue carbon. So I think it is very important for us, especially because 77% of Indonesian is seawater. So we cannot avoid to start working on that. So we are also very open to have international collaboration to do the blue carbon as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you, Prof. Oki.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Oki, for the explanation. And I think we still have around 15 minutes. So if you have any, yeah, please. Yeah, 3 questions. Yeah, you can start. Yeah, miss. Yeah.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Cynthia. I'm from Jababeka Infrastructure. We are the provider of urban infrastructure specifically for industrial park. I think from the discussion here today, I see that a lot of research in sustainability technology has been around. And I think to solve our sustainability issue, a lot of the technology is actually quite well proven and applicable. I think the difficulty, the challenge that we have is actually on the application part of it, how to actually apply this technology in our context. For example, I think some of the issues that was raised here is a lot of this about about waste management, and that is a big issue even for us as an industrial estate operator. I think my question is then, how do we do this in the most economical way? Because what I see in one of your slides today, you mentioned that just to get rid of the shell, that was 60 to 160 euros per ton. I believe if we are able to convince or put the economic damage in that context, then it's easier for us to solve a lot of problems. Because if we have the mindset that 60 euro is the correct numbers for us to process our waste, then a lot of problem can be solved. I have an issue today in my in situations around us. A lot of people put their waste everywhere, and then it's dry season, a lot of fire, a lot of air pollution. How much damage does this gonna cost us as a country? And does 60 euros actually economic to us or not? How do we put price on this? While we're discussing about carbon market, while we're discussing about very edgy technology, we have a problem that is facing us that needs to be quickly solved. And having all this biogas system, having all this incineration system, that solve our problem. Always our question is this economic for us? Then how do we price this economic damage to be able to say that, yes, this is the most economic way to solve our problem instead of leaving it the way it is today? So my question to you is, how do we do that? How do we put price in the economic damage such that we can actually say, yes, this is the way forward. This is the most economic way forward for us to be able to decide on something? Thank you.
Well, everything that you said is right, completely right. So the economic damage that you do, the burden that you put onto the planet has to be paid somewhat. And this has not been done. So in the last centuries, basically, so using the fossil resources, putting the damage onto the planet was not with the real costs. And here the problem is that there is not enough international cooperation. So if we had a global price on that, and a global that everyone would agree to, and that everyone would have the same price, then it would be easy. But nowadays, many countries are competing with each other, and everyone wants to sell more of its goods, to raise its own economy, which is kind of reasonable. But here, it's not a completely fair play, I would say. And so, first of all, the countries, governments have to work together. There has to be a real cost that will then be put onto all the products that are produced. And this will make goods more expensive. So we might not be able to afford as much as we are used to. And so it's not easy to be installed, but it's the only way. I mean, if we have soon 10 billion people on this planet, I don't know in how many years. I mean, 10 billion is a huge number, and if we cannot manage not to have 10 billion, then we have to cope with it, and we have to cope with it with putting the real costs, and by that, making consumption going down.
Yeah, thank you. So do you have any more comment or question?
Thank you. I think some of the areas which I feel needs to be pursued further is also about policy. And Singapore, for example, is my reference in terms of doing urban sustainability. They invested a lot of funds, a lot of money into their urban infrastructures on the belief that they have limited resource. Unfortunately, in Indonesia, we always believe we have so much resource that it's endless. And that is actually one of I guess it's a bit of a false belief that this is going to run like this all the time. So I think this is something that I think needs to be further studied in terms of what might be the implication for us as a country, because we are not unlimited in resource. I think Java is very heavily populated. It might actually eventually, 2 or 3 years down the road, it will damage our industry. It will actually put a cap into our economic growth. But how do we quantify this? This is something that I have no answer. I have no resource to be able to answer that question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for the suggestion. I think I will move on to the next question. I believe we still have 2 questions. So, if you, yeah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Such cares for Herr Sieber and now Herr Habibie. So it is pleased for me for the chance that I can ask here. So the first time I want to ask about the words in Indonesia, how is the solution for our words? I think that it's need like industry or a company, and how to start it, how to solve this words. I think it's not only for a words, but also for the human being, also how to educate them so that we can do this all until finish. I think we need also a collaboration with Europe, and also with some vision staff, some knowledge from the docent Vilay. Okay, and then I wanna ask also about. I think there are many things that we can use for bioeconomic, like coconut. That I ever talked with my friend that he also will build infrastructure or an company for a battery that's made from coconut. Is that also can be a solve for bioeconomy? And then the last, thanks very much for all. Share gedanken.
Okay, so did you get the question? So he want to ask about waste management in Indonesia. What's the solution regarding the waste management? And also he was asking about the human capital in Indonesia, like how to also educate people to do like the good thing for the waste management in Indonesia. And also, he also asked about coconut as a resource to make battery. So yeah, he wants to know your opinion about that. Maybe Professor Enia can also add something later on. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the last question you might be better suited to answer. But the first two questions, definitely waste management is a key to collect all the waste, to have opportunities for people to get rid of the waste. This is what you first have to start, and then you will not have this waste being laying around all over the place. And yeah, I don't know how this is installed in Indonesia and where there are maybe problems to help installing it even better. So certainly from learning from Europe, or at least from some parts in Europe, can be helpful here. There is a lot of waste accumulating in Germany, but it's collected, so you don't have the waste laying around so much. Okay. And it's utilized, reutilized, recycled. This is installed, and I can certainly only encourage every other country to install that, because waste is not waste. Waste is a new resource. And if it's about educating people, well, yeah, if the generation maybe before was used to throw the waste into the river because it was out in the sea and it was no problem because all the waste was biodegradable anyways. Now it's not biodegradable anymore, so I think people learn now, and the newer generations do learn and understand. And if not, then yeah, you have to bring it in school and everywhere, every possible mean that you have for the education.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Sieber. Yeah.
Okay, maybe just put some insight on the battery. Okay. Definitely we need the energy storage, some kind of a battery. And then you mentioning about the organic battery, I think. Yeah, yeah, that's organic battery, even from the alkaline type or acid types. It's possible, but the power is so small. Oh, okay. So it is, but if you interest on that field, yeah. Please do not give up, because there is so many opportunity also to making the small capacity, small power of that, but it is consists from organic. You still can have some example that maybe in the next future we can put the organic battery inside our body, and then yeah, it support some kind of drug delivery or some kind of heart. What you mean heart? Apa itu? Picu jantung itu apa tadi? Yes. Apa itu in English? Some kind of heart. As a battery for the heart attacks.
Oh yeah.
Pacemaker. Yeah, like a pacemaker. Yes, it is. That's possible. So I heard about that and very long time ago, and I have a comment from the organic battery, even from the fruits, we can produce some small power from that. But this is still a big challenge to make. But don't give up your dreams. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, we still have 6 minutes, but I think I should stop here for the question because we still need like 2 or 3 minutes for closing remark for our speaker. So I'm sorry for other audience who want to ask question. Okay, okay, okay. Only the last one, the last question, please. Yeah. Oh, we still have one there, but I'm sorry. We need to stick to the schedule. So yeah.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Morris. I am from Friends of DAAD Indonesia, also we know as WALHI. I want to ask a question. Is it possible to this produce of this technology within microsite approaches, such as community or indigenous people? As we know, as long as these technofics depend on for those belongings, for community needs or just industrial needs, and how community energy is suffering. If it's actually for industrial, it already leading to increasing of deforestations, expanding land grabbing, and also human rights violations. Today, one of the indigenous people died because of biofuel plantation in Bangkal, Borneo. Thank you.
So, am I supposed to say? Yes, I agree that, and I hope I made the point that it's not about increasing the agricultural production and the forest production to an extent that you will lose all biodiversity. And bioeconomy is also about trying to create high-value products from natural resources, also together with indigenous people. So we have our cooperation with Brazil, for example, where there's just about finding and developing products that are locally then produced and give value to the local people. And they have cooperations with Africa, Central Africa, in the same way. So it's not only about high-tech products, it's also about bringing value chains by preserving the nature.
Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Sieber, and also for the last question. I'm sorry for the lady over there. We don't have more time, but yeah, before I close the discussion, I would like to hear your closing remark. Maybe just 2 minutes, short one, please.
Oh, I wasn't aware that I was interesting closing remark, but no, that's been a very interesting discussion, and so I have the European perspective, and it's not so being here and listening to the questions. I now have a better understanding of what's on your minds also, and where there might be some possible ways for future interactions. As I said before, I think that there's a high potential for Indonesia to advance more in the bioeconomy, but certainly it has to be carefully done, like the last point that was raised, certainly not on the cost of nature, and still waste utilization. Well, you go out in the street and you see that there's a lot of waste, and to do something with it, it's very important. And so if we can support this by education or with technology developments and joint corporations, then we should go for it to help the planet.
Thank you so much for the closing remark. Yeah, Professor Enia, maybe you have like last comment or closing remark for this, for the discussion.
Okay, with this, this is very insightful discussion, and really happy to have you here all. And I hope the collaboration from between German and Indonesia could be increased in terms of bioeconomy, circular economy, or even in the next of hydrogen economy. So I think it's really definitely important that we can reduce the emission, and we need international assistance. We need the growing of the young generation to think about more low carbon community. So I think we still we have to start our carbon footprint for personal one, because since you came out of this room, so how much you making a waste? How about your? Do you still have waste food from your yeah for your disease? And I think it's a good point that we can aware about our next life, going to the nature and put back on the nature. So yeah, I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Enia and Professor Sieber. Yeah, I believe that this discussion has provided insightful discussion for us, and then hopefully this discussion will also create like more collaboration between research institutes in Indonesia and also in Germany, especially TUM. So yeah, before I close our discussion, I would like to thank our speaker, Professor Sieber, and also Professor Enia as the discussion for sharing valuable insight on this issue. And thank you so much also for the audiences, for all your comments and questions, and for actively participating in this forum. So it's an honor for me to have you here. So once again, please give a round of applause to our speakers. Thank you so much. Have a good evening, everyone, and I will pass the stage to my colleague, Lutfi Rabis. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Echoing what Hera and Prof. Enia have said, it was really insightful discussion. It was sharp discussion for me. And thank you so much. Congratulations for the moderator. And for now, I would like to have Dr. Markus Wachter as the Managing Director of Technical University of Munich, Asia, to give remarks. Sir, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks everyone for coming. I'll keep it short. I don't attend many seminars where there seems to be an endless stream of questions just coming in, but I think that's a very good sign. It also just shows us how important the topic is that we're discussing. So first of all, Prof. Sieber, thank you very much for being here. He also mentioned the TUM Venture Labs as the kind of innovation startup part of TUM. Actually, we are also working with the TUM Venture Labs to bring them to Singapore in the near future. So since you also learned, thank you, Dr. Schnieders, for introducing TUM Asia already in the beginning, so I will not repeat that. It's only 1.5 hours by plane from Singapore to Jakarta. We are here for around 20 years, and I think it's just like timely that we just really like look into this, how we use also Singapore as our, let's say, TUM campus besides Munich, Straubing, also the Singapore campus as some kind of bridge between what we could do together also here. We also have a research arm in Singapore, and of course some of the topics we're discussing here, be it bioeconomy, using food waste for new products, energy, carbon. Of course, we also discussed this in Singapore. We also have some research going on. And I know most of our colleagues would be very keen and just see, okay, if we're already in Singapore, why don't we try to extend? So please, if you have any further questions, let's just follow up on this, and I would be more than happy. And I quickly then want to end thanking, of course, especially two people, Dr. Schnieders and DAAD. Thank you very much for your support. Without this, of course, this event would not be happen. And of course, most of all, Dr. Habibie, fellow TUM alumnus. We actually started in the same department at TUM, or let's say did our PhD in the same department. It's amazing to be here. So I already mentioned to him, this reminds me of course, the libraries in TUM were nowhere near that nice. But it's an amazing place, and thank you very much. Thank you so much to like opening this grand place for us to have this kind of exchange and ideas. And it's a bit for us of like being a bit in a circle. We are more than 20 years old, by the time you started the Habibie Foundation, which was 1999, obviously, one reason why TUM is in Singapore is because the then president of TUM, who also founded the Straubing campus, Professor Hermann, actually was in Jakarta, I think it was 1998, at the invite of the back then German ambassador to Jakarta, I think Mr. Schlegel was his name, because he wrote in the FAZ that there are not enough Indonesian students studying engineering and science in Germany anymore. And then our president came to Jakarta, visited the ambassador and said, oh, that's an interesting person, I want to meet him. And on the way back, he had to stop over in Singapore, and then he met TUM students who were there on their own. So that's, I think, then for him was like the impetus to say, oh, maybe the whole region would be like very interesting for TUM to venture out of Munich. So I dare to say if Prof. Hermann would not have come to Jakarta in 1998, we would not have opened our campus in 2002. So I think that's why it's like everything just like adds up nicely together. And that's all from me, and thanks.
Still have one more remarks. We are so honored today for having Her Excellencies Mrs. Ina Lepel, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Federal Republic of Germany to Indonesia and East Timor. Therefore, I would like to invite Madam Ambassador to give a closing remarks to top this public lecture. Please.
Thank you very much, and I'll do my best to be brief. Professor Sieber, Professor Rector, Professor Erian, Dr. Ilham Habibie, TUM community here in Indonesia and Asia, scientific community, sustainability community. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I have found it most inspiring to listen to all this innovation coming out of TUM, like waste biomass rather than fuel biomass for biofuel or even other polymers, or more amazing proteins from electricity and air. This is really interesting, inspiring, and shows there are so many possibilities to become more sustainable. And the discussion has also shown that bioeconomy will play an integral role in achieving the sustainable economy of the future. I think the discussion has also shown, or this seminar, the whole thing, that research made in Germany is still a real driver for innovation. But to address global challenges, we must not stop at our national borders. It is crucial to ensure that we all profit from technological advances. International academic cooperation can play a key role in this regard. And it is therefore most encouraging that this event does not take place in Straubing or Munich, but here in Jakarta. TUM Asia is a real trailblazer for economic cooperation between Germany and Southeast Asia. And I'm very pleased to see that one of our leading universities, a beacon of excellence in academic research and education, is looking to expand its ties with this region even further. There is already a solid basis for a deepened cooperation in research between Germany and Indonesia. One of the evidence is the large number of people in this meeting who have said they are alumni. Also, we do have a couple of cooperation projects. We are working in sustainable palm oil production, supporting sustainable practices, including certification. We have a renewable energy partnership, looking at collaborations in areas such as solar energy, wind power, and biomass utilization. And we have a large number of projects in the field of waste management and recycling. So cooperation in academic research and education, as well as practical development cooperation, is a cornerstone of our bilateral relations between Indonesia and Germany. Dr. Schnieders has already given the numbers. And I'm very happy to be part of this effort to enhance academic cooperation, because I think we have a lot to learn from each other. We have learned today how research and innovation can create the ideas that we need to improve sustainability in our life. But policy also has to come in. We have learned that from many questions, to educate people, to set the right incentives, and if that is not enough, to properly regulate, so that individuals and societies can actually go and make the necessary step to transform, to become more sustainable. So we look forward to working together more strongly with our partners from Indonesia and Germany and take the successful cooperation even further. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Madam Ambassador. Therefore, I would like to conclude the Habibie Center's public lecture, Bioeconomy at Technical University of Munich, Pioneering Sustainable Solution for a Changing World. However, I would like to invite everyone to stay tuned to the Habibie Center's upcoming discussion and public lectures, and you can see the information on our website, habibiecenter.or.id. And also, I would like to invite everyone to have coffee and teas at the coffee desk behind and have a networking session after this. Thank you so much and good afternoon. Thank you.